Hello there guys, and welcome to a video on something that I don't do very often, which is a more modern military vehicle. As you can see, this is the Italeri 1/35th scale M978 fuel servicing truck used by the US Army. To be honest, this is not something that I would have bought myself. It was given to me as a Christmas present, but I'm really grateful for that because it was a really fun build and quite an interesting subject as well. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know much about modern vehicles, and particularly about US vehicles, so please do feel free to correct me in the comments below. But my understanding is that this fuel truck is a variant of the Heavy Expanded Mobility Tactical Truck project, HEMTT, which was first introduced to the US Army in 1982. And I think essentially it's a modular truck system. So for example, we have this general sort of cargo version here, in this case in fact with a trailer on the back as well. We have the wrecker version towing some kind of APC here, a load carrying version here launching a boat of some description. We also have a firefighting version of the truck, which is pretty cool. I think Trumpeter might do a version of this. And the launch vehicle for the THAAD, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Missile, is also based on this chassis, I believe. And this version here, the fuel truck version, which is as close as, if not identical to, the version that we have in this kit. Italeri themselves have released several different versions of this model. So the first version here was this general cargo version, and this was a new tool in 1996. Revell then released their own version of this, based on these moulds. And then Italeri released this gun truck version, which I haven't seen any reference photos for, although to be honest I haven't had a significant look. But that looks quite interesting. Academy also released a boxing of this tooling too. Italeri released this load handling system variant in 2016, and then finally the fuel truck version that we have here in 2018. Anyway, let's have a look at the kit. We've got this lovely desert scheme box art, which is probably the version that I'll go for. Although we do also have the camouflage scheme over here on the side that we can do. In terms of the instructions, it's fairly standard Italeri instructions. Sprue maps on the first page, and then straight into building up the chassis, which does look quite complicated. It does look like there's quite a few parts there, but in reality it's relatively straightforward. So let's jump straight in. So you can see straight away from these two main beams just how big the kit is. This is over 30 centimeters or 12 inches. So it's going to be a big old model. For any setup like this, the best thing I find to do is to get all of the center parts cut out first, sanded down and dry fitted, and then glue everything together all at once. Of course, the most important concern here is making sure everything is square, because if this isn't square, the entire vehicle is going to be out of kilter. While that was setting up and drying, I moved on to this cube here which houses the engine. Again, a fairly straightforward construction here, where it's best to put all the pieces on together at the same time, and that will give you the best chance of getting them nice and square. And in fact, to really help that alignment, I just push fitted this into the base that it goes onto while the glue set up. We do get this exhaust system here which goes over the back of the engine, and although I built it up, I left it separate for now because it kind of blocks access into the engine for painting. We do have a number of parts that go on the side of those two main chassis beams. Many of those have location holes already, but there are a few that don't, and it's just got the whole sort of half marked on the inside. You have to draw them out yourself. I guess that's because Italeri do so many versions of this truck, but you do have to be careful to make sure you've got the right location pins before you proceed. It's nice to see that these suspension components here are an individual piece. As well as giving them more strength, it means that the alignment is sorted for you as well. With those in place, we can add the axles, and then really the majority of the chassis base is complete. There are a couple of places in the instructions where the attachment points are not super clear, or just not very big in general. So this platform here, for example, goes here, but only at the front do we get anywhere to actually glue that on. And then the transmission slides into that. As we add the various stowage boxes, they tend to be built in this triangular format here. But if we look at the instructions, even the steps after building these does show that diagonal line, so I feel like that is a feature more than a bug. The cab is another subassembly which goes together in a very straightforward manner. I really enjoyed throughout this build the way that Italeri have broken the parts down. There's no need to mess around with the alignment here. It all seems to just fit really well. And this is the unarmoured version of the cab. There are some later versions which are up-armoured. For the right hand side, which is the passenger side, we have the door closed. For the driver's side, we have the door frame, and therefore the option to have the door open if we want. And at this point I left the seats, which have got their own moulded in fabric pattern, and the roof of the cab separate to allow for easier painting. And this is another example of quite a small attachment point. As we do put the cab onto the chassis, the only thing we have is those two square pegs there, which will attach to those two round pegs at the bottom of the cab. Okay, it fits and it does hold it, but it is quite a small surface area. The only time I found the fit to be a little bit bad was this strange curved section that goes at the back of the main fuel tank, where I couldn't really avoid a gap. But having said that, most of this face is internal and therefore will be hidden. It's probably worth noting that you can't have the doors at the rear open, so you can't have anything attached to the fuel tank. I did have this one mangled part here, which is a ladder that goes up the rear of the tanker. However, I think that is more or less salvageable. By sort of gently bending it back into place, and then placing each half in the location holes, it did seem to look maybe just a bit heavily used and damaged rather than completely broken. I left a lot of these fine details off until later, such as these grab handles here and the wing mirrors. And then it was time for the biggest sanding job of the kit, which was to get rid of these seam lines around the main fuel tank. This took a good few rounds of sanding, priming, resanding. You can see here after the first stage I've still got quite a clear witness mark there. But eventually I was able to remove it. This is how the kit will look when everything is together, but a lot of this is dry fitted at the moment. Certainly the main fuel tank is going to stay separate because it will make painting much easier. And the same is true for a few of these stowage boxes, which will block access to things like the transmission. Finally, in terms of wheels and tyres, we get these rubber tyres here, enough for all 8 wheels plus the spare. Strangely, we do get a plastic moulded spare tyre as well, but what I'll most likely do is keep that in the spare parts box for something else and just use the rubber tyres here, just to keep them all consistent. And that really is the end of my build process. As I take it downstairs to the garage to prime, I now need to think about how I'm going to paint this. And as I said, I'm most likely to go for this desert scheme here. Unknown unit, Saudi Arabia, 1991. The camouflage scheme, despite reminding me very much of the 1980s, is also Saudi Arabia, 1991. Interestingly there, the text on the back seems to change colour with the camo scheme. Not quite sure how that works. But yeah, I think the desert version is the version I'm going to go for. What do you guys think? Anyway, I'm going to leave that video there for now. I would like to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do let me know in the comments below if you like this modern stuff, or if you do prefer the World War II armour that I typically do. I would like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members for their ongoing support of the channel. It is massively appreciated. So until next time, thank you to all of you for watching, and have fun modelling.